has been quite an impact that Wayne Rooney has made since joining DC United. Remember, they were bottom of the East, and when they made the move to MLS, they moved up to 8th. They still got games in hand. A lot of playoff talk now, heard. Has this surprised you?
Not necessarily. I think 32 years old, he still has a lot left in the tank. And if you're trying to tell me going into his debut in Major League Soccer that he wouldn't have been head above just anybody else between the ears, I would have told you you're crazy. I think he's proven his worth now. There is this sense of belief with Wayne Rooney. Most people would have thought a player of his caliber would have just came down and taken the paycheck, would have been on holiday, but he's proved otherwise. He proved he cares about the game, he cares about his teammates. It's a big salary with it, but up until this moment, he's proven his worth.
It's working well so far, isn't it? Because we weren't sure was it going to be a Gerrard or a Lampard situation, but he seems to have gone in, enjoyed it, and leading the team.
If you're committed to it and you're not overhiring what we would call a jolly up, which clearly he's not. He's very professional. You don't come in as a 16-year-old at Everton and play for the longevity and have the longevity that he had and such a standard he had over the years if you're not a good professional. He's over here. He's learning about his teammates, he's learning about the league, the strengths and weaknesses and how he can pick some of the defending's poor, there's no getting away from it. And he will capitalise on that. So fair play, he's looking fitter because he's getting more game time, and the younger guys around about him will only get better with players like that there.
And they're able to change the way they play. Most of the games he started at the centre forward and players have tried to run beyond him. Then as Matix comes on as a substitute, he then drops that little bit deeper, and when they're really chasing the game, they might get more players forward and he goes in and even deeper on, he keeps switching the play. His passing is his best aspect of his game. We saw him run and score the goal, but his switches of play are still brilliant. He still has a great ping on him out to each wing. And I think he's been a revelation.
I have to say, Rooney's performances haven't surprised me, how good he's been for DC United. What has surprised me is how good DC have been, just in terms of their own mentality. This was a team that was rooted to the bottom of the table.
And he's got the best out of Costa as well, who now looks a really
all of a sudden, we are having realistic conversations about DC into the playoffs. You saw that in the last game against Orlando, where 2-2 in injury time, a DC of a few weeks ago probably would have happily taken a point even against a 10-man Orlando. Yet they're willing to throw a goalkeeper on because they know they have to win and they believe they can do it and they get it. The response of DC United to Wayne Rooney's arrival has been the surprising element here and very good.
Shaka, but we've seen this with Los Angeles, with Zlatan. Anytime a player of that caliber comes on, it immediately increases the level of the rest of the team. There's a sense of belief there. And now a Galaxy team that's not very good defensively, not very good in other aspects, is winning games just like this DC United team.
The big worry for Wayne Rooney coming in, and we talked about it, was that because the team that he was going to, DC, were so poor at that time, that he was going to come in and be another one of those that was just completely dragged down. And the head gets down, and all of a sudden you just want to get yourself back to England, and the team are not playing well. And all of a sudden you're looking around the dressing room and he ain't very good, and he ain't very good. And why the hell's he even a footballer? All that sort of nonsense. But as Hert said, it's had the opposite effect. Not every player has that effect on a dressing room. And luckily for Wayne, the players have responded, because had it gone the other way, it's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult to go out there and play when you're in a slump. And luckily for them, they've picked up.
He looks as though he's enjoying it as well. He's not just playing with he's enjoying his football. He's got a smile on his face. He wants to congratulate others when they do well. He's not throwing his arms up in the air when the ball doesn't come to him, like one or two other players that have come over from the Premier League have done. I think he's been.
Well, he was playing at Everton in the end when Allardyce was there, and things weren't going great in general. But he was getting hauled off all the time.
Didn't he still end up as a leading goal scorer at Everton? I mean, there's lots of talent with this player. And listen, we've said it many times. Right? You could have said it could have been a Lampard situation here. It wasn't. He is.
Was Lampard that bad here?
You know,
the first season, when
he first got here, and a lot of elements.
He was injured.
Yeah, he was injured. A lot of elements he didn't understand. The turf, the travel, his teammates.
Travel again.
No, this is a common thing. But he, like you said, he's not once mentioned travel. He's not once mentioned the caliber or the level of his play or the league. He's gone about his business in a very professional manner. And every ball he disputes, 50-50 or not, he wants to win. He wants to make it his last.